Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am back in the building once again. If you do not know, let me introduce myself. It is your man, Jelani JB Bodie, and this is the Wait a Minute Show, where we are going to give you your sports fix. So sit back, relax, and I got you. I got you for the next few minutes. And I'm not by myself, as usual, running in the background, trying to be a pain. If we can see him. See how he trying to be a pain? See what he does to me?
Nah. See, I had the lights down because I'm still hype off of that Kendrick Lamar concert. I'm still hype off Kendrick and Friends, man. The most disrespectful, most powerful, impactful concert in hip hop history. What's up, JB?
Well, you know what? You already said it. So let's. But everybody, this is Big Mo. But yeah, you're right. Kendrick did. You know, he shut it down for one night, and actually he got some aftermath from that concert. So
he did.
Everybody's been talking about it.
Interesting pun, but yeah, it was dope.
It was yeah. I mean, it was calculated. It was, and let me say this because I missed it, and I'll tell everybody why I missed it later at the end of the show. But from everything that I've heard, like, it was one of those things where I take it, it was, it was just like you had to be there. You wanted to be there, but then it was such a positive vibe, and everything that's good about, music and everything was at that concert. And then it had a little bit of, the little shot at Drake as well.
The little shot at Drake, let me tell you something.
5 times.
Exactly. 5 times. 5 times. When you live at a concert, you play a diss track 5 times and it hit just as hard all 5 times.
That's what I heard.
I almost feel bad for him.
That's what I heard. I heard it was just like the second time was just like the first, third was like the first.
We're not here for this, but I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna get off of it. Please go watch it. You get a chance, you get some time, just carve out several hours because it's about a 4-hour concert.
Yeah,
because
I heard
Kendrick Lamar, he had a lot of artists come up, and every single performance, in my opinion, was dope. It was dope.
Entire West Coast.
Entire West Coast, man. And celebration, man. Dope show. Right. Salute to Kendrick and Friends.
Speaking of celebration, and Mo, you can come back. You can come back, Mo. This is a question for you. I don't know if you, real quick before we jump into our topics, and I didn't say this, let me say this right now. Make sure, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, man, and join us each and every week we put out a show every week. So you don't want to miss that. But also, hopefully you didn't miss Angel Reese balling. I don't know if you saw that game, but
I saw that game.
She single-handedly brought the Chicago Sky back. I think that what they had the last almost 11 and a half minutes of the game, she had 15 points and the Fever had 15 points. So she pretty much beat the Fever by herself. Obviously, her teammates, contributed as well. But It was amazing. It was big props to Angel. Something she's been doing all year long. She's one of the top rebounders in the league. Energy person, energy. I don't want to say energy guy because I know people say that, but
it applies. I know what you're saying.
But she said the biggest thing, she said after that press conference, after the game, was she a dog, and it's just like absolutely, that's exactly what it was, and you saw that dog really, really out there, not intimidated, not scared. Probably was intimidated. I forgot who was guarding. Oh, Nixon. I want to say either Nixon or Hickson. I might be saying the name wrong, but she was out there giving the folks the business.
She was. What's interesting to me is all year long you've been hearing about Caitlin Clark will continue to develop. She will continue to develop. But you seeing that quickly with Angel Reese. Like every game, you can tell, like she's picking her spots better. I mean, she's developing, and listen, it's gonna be controversy at the end of the season when it's time to announce your rookie of the year, right? It's gonna be a problem.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a problem because unless you go with co-rookie of the years, and they're not the only ones balling. I forget the other girl name. I forget her name, but she balling, man. She balling.
Yeah, and I can see
I mean, how many times are they gonna play this year?
Man, well, they only got like 12 teams, so they see each other a lot.
Yeah.
This is the third time, and they may see each other again. And that might have been the whole series.
Yeah,
but
they play once a week.
Yeah.
I love it though.
So they know what the other team is going to do. It's almost like a playoff game. Oh man, but yeah, props to Angel Reese, man. She was out there doing her thing as she's been doing all season long. Now let's get into what we were talking about. Mo is probably gonna, feel some type of way, but it is what it is when it comes to it. And the Los Angeles Lakers have themselves a new coach. Their 29th coach in the franchise history has been announced, and it is one and only JJ Redick, right? So all these things are, about JJ Redick, question marks. You got different feelings, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. JJ met with the press earlier, and here's what he had to say. And there's a piece of it. So Mo, run that for me.
This process has been surreal, to say the least. One of the things that kept coming up during the process with Rob, we kept talking about the word gratitude. And I think that's where I'll start, is just feeling so grateful for Rob, Jeannie, the entire Lakers organization for entrusting me in this position. And I take this responsibility very seriously. I have never coached in the NBA before. I don't know if you guys have heard that. My motivations for doing this, it starts with a very simple foundation of service. I think about the greatest moments, especially towards the end of my career, was about helping players. And so it starts with the desire to serve players, to serve the Lakers.
So he goes on and on basically to talk about, helping players and how he know what he signed up for. It's about winning the championship, all that stuff that, that comes with being the head coach or being associated with the Los Angeles Lakers, right? So I guess the biggest thing is that, was it a good hire? We don't know yet, right? But here's what I'm going to say for people that are out there in La La Land, and maybe someone behind the camera here probably is feeling the same way. Maybe is having some question marks about this hire. Now, JJ Redick will be the 18th, or he is the 18th head coach in the NBA that didn't have prior head coaching experience, right? So I'm going to give you some names because it's just like there's a chance this could work out, right? There's guys that it didn't work out. I got a list here. I always got a list. Steve Nash didn't work out. Derek Fisher didn't work out. You had some guys that were just kind of standing in though. Kevin McHale and Magic, they did 1 year and all that stuff. I think they were just really trying to, to help out the team. So, and you have some other guys, that's there. But let me give you some names of some coaches that did not have head coaching experience. And it kind of worked out for them. And Mo, you tell me if I'm, maybe, changing your mind a little bit, on here. Steve Kerr. I think that worked out, for them. Jason Kidd currently is working out. He had a little bumpy road at the beginning, kind of with Brooklyn and Milwaukee, but he's been to a Western Conference final, 2-3 years ago, and he was in the NBA finals just recently now. So I count that as a good one. Mark Jackson. I think that played out. I think Mark Jackson, it was just more of, I guess philosophies or whatever. Somebody got it out for Mark Jackson, but no one is ever going to discount the success of the Golden State Warriors not starting with Mark Jackson. You got Doc Rivers. Now that one might be a little bit, one side versus the other, but he did win a chip. And I think this one is something that maybe apples to apples is Larry Bird. Larry Bird, they got to the NBA Finals as well. Now, one thing I think, especially with Larry Bird, I like to bring up Larry Bird because Larry Bird made sure he surrounded himself with very, very high quality assistants and people that could help make decisions. He didn't go into it thinking like, I'm the guy, I'm just going to do everything and anything. So I don't think JJ is going to be like that. So Mo, I'm telling you, man, there's a chance. There's a chance. It's not all gloom and doom, sir. You're on mute, Mo. You're on mute.
Sorry. Do you make this move with LeBron James on your roster, though? I don't think people realize the dynamic that this is. I mean, let me not be cynical, okay? We don't know. JJ Redick may be the next Pat Riley.
You said let you not be what?
Cynical.
What's her last name?
Listen, I hope it work out. As a Laker fan, of course, I hope it work out. But I'm just with the options that were out there. Even if you're talking about former players, you're talking about assistant coaches like a Sam Cassell. You mentioned Mark Jackson. I don't know what's going on with that situation. Money Williams was available. But I mean, I just didn't understand this move right now. Right? And I get it. You had Dan Hurley in the interview process, and he decided to go back to college. I get that. But I just feel like we settled as an organization. I feel like we settled.
You know what? Here's what I'm going to say. I think partly because everyone's saying, LeBron wanted JJ. LeBron wanted JJ. Now, LeBron said he didn't have anything to do with that. That was just the Lakers.
I actually believe him.
I do too. Because you know who I think had to do with it and ain't nobody said nothing? Anthony Davis. I think Anthony Davis, because I don't know, did they spend some time in New Orleans together when he was with the Pelicans? I know JJ did play for the Pelicans. I don't know if
That's
Anthony was there.
I'll look it up.
At that time. But I do believe, because we've been talking about how Anthony Davis is going to be the person that's supposed to take over once when LeBron leaves, or that changing of the guard at some point, which I think is going to start happening to some degree this year with Anthony Davis. So I think this was more of, they might have spoke with Anthony, and this is, hey, we need to keep Anthony, because once when LeBron leaves, he could be looking at, I'm going too. I'm going to look at other avenues and everything. So you get a coach that works out, that could keep him. So to me, I think Anthony Davis probably played more of a hand.
I didn't think about it. I didn't think about that.
And the great part about it is that, everybody's kind of talking about that LeBron thing, and it doesn't put that pressure on Anthony that he has to answer all these questions and everything, because everybody's going to gravitate to LeBron, and LeBron to say whatever it is he's going to say. And then they'll finally come back and say something to Anthony, and Anthony will just be like, hey, he's a new coach. I'm glad he's here. Boom, boom, boom. And he ain't got to worry about all that, hey, Anthony Davis got, JJ Redick here. And then if it don't work out, they start pointing the finger. So I believe Anthony Davis, played a part behind the scenes in that.
Well, you got an uphill battle, because it's going to be hard to have success as a head coach with that roster. Now, hopefully they can make some moves, get some things done. But I don't know.
If you look at all the coaches that I just mentioned, where I was talking about Steve Kerr, I was talking about Jason Kidd, Larry Bird, and so forth. What do all of them have other than just the staff that I was just talking about? They had ballers. They had players. So you're absolutely right. You got your coach. JJ Redick is not going to, and nor is any NBA head coach, nor any NBA head coach is not going to coach a team to a championship. You still need the talent. So you got JJ, so you're absolutely right. You need to add that talent. If they add the right talent along with JJ, then some things could happen. It might be magical, man. No pun intended on it.
I mean, okay, you got the Dallas Mavericks, you got Denver Nuggets, you got teams in the West that may have something to say about that, man. It's going to be tough.
Trust me, I didn't say it was going to be easy, because you still got Houston, these up and coming teams that you got to worry about as well.
Everybody, man.
Yeah. So
I don't see them making the playoffs.
It's going to be tough.
I don't, regardless of who you would have hired, I don't see them getting to the playoffs. You got to make some moves.
We'll see.
You got to make some roster adjustments, but good luck, JJ. I don't want to see him fall on his face.
Yeah. Some other people made some adjustments too, and that was my Detroit Pistons. They decided to move on from Monty Williams, and they went ahead and gave him his walking papers, told him he could go ahead and bounce. And Monty Williams is no longer employed by the Detroit Pistons. Here's what I'm going to say on that, right? Here's what I'm going to say. I don't know what my team is doing, man. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. They got a plan. That's all I'm going to say. They have a plan. Trajan Langdon has talked about being patient. He's not in a rush, and he can't be. Let me just say that. He can't be, because you had Dwayne Casey come in there, a former assistant who was on the championship, roster in Toronto. Then you have Monty Williams, who came in, who had success, who was a coach in the NBA Finals, and you showed both of them the door like that. So this process of what are we doing, this turnover, you got to get some type of consistency. So whoever it is that they're going to, pick up and be the coach, I just think on this one, you definitely have to let this coach stay around. But then also Piston fans are talking about, like, you just can't put this all on the coach. You got to look at the players as well. And some of the guys that's on this roster, are they a good fit? Are they, trying to fit into the culture? Are they really wanting to, be there? So, legitimate questions, on it. But I guess the silver lining of this, props to Monty Williams for getting $85 million over the next two, out of 2 years and everything. So I know that's not what he wanted. But if you got to go, you got to go. And if you go out on that note, hey, I can't hate on that. But I really don't. I'm confused. The Pistons, they say they got a plan. So as a Piston fan, I'm gonna sit here and watch and wait and see. And someone said that the Pistons are the old Detroit Lions. It's just like making just these ridiculous moves and everything. And that's what it looks like right now. But hopefully another Duke player can come on board and help this organization get to where we used to be and what we're used to. So that's all I'm going to say about that, as Forrest Gump said. Let's move on to the NFL. And in the NFL, there is a rumor or a possibility, let's just say that, a possibility about a salary cap. Now, no, we already got a salary cap. No, not for the players, but for a player. That is the quarterback position, or position, I should say. And so there's been talks about maybe, playing around with possibly putting a cap on the QB position, because we know the quarterback commands the most money. We know the quarterback takes up the most, space when it comes to the cap. We know these numbers are getting high, right? And I want to get Mo back in here for a quick second when it comes to the cap. So would a QB salary cap be the right answer? No. To me, no. And there's a few reasons why. And here's what, Mo, this is what I think they're trying to do as well. Yes, it's about the quarterback and trying to maybe level off that money that they're making. But I do still believe that as the quarterback make more money, everybody else still make more money. Wide receivers, DBs, especially DBs, and defensive linemen and offensive linemen, because when you look at the hierarchy, it's quarterback, and then you start in those DBs, linemen, and wide receiver spots, and I think those are going to increase as well, because they're trying to get as close as possible. They won't reach it, but they're trying to get as close as possible to the quarterback. So I think it's to tail off the whole increase or the whole scale of it. But the question is it the right answer for a quarterback? And I'm going to say no, and this is why. You look at the league, and we always talk, maybe it's 10, 15 guys, but it's maybe 10 that you really give a shot of either making some noise, getting in the playoffs, and then that list gets even smaller when it comes to getting to the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
And everybody looks at the quarterback position as the most important position because it is the most important position. And then we just have a recent example, and I hate to pick on the guy or use this because I'm not trying to pick on him, but the New York Jets, they were a Super Bowl contending on paper. They could win it, all that. And the quarterback position changed, and it changed the whole dynamic of their season. So,
Right.
no, you can't put a cap on a quarterback because when you start doing that, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess people ain't gonna stop playing quarterback. But when you start doing that, then you get disgruntled, and then maybe they start moving around, and then you start looking at having a quarterback somewhere else and be like, man, he could have been doing that for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, how about organizations just make better decisions with your contracts with some of these quarterbacks? I mean, we've seen teams that, paid grossly overrated contracts. I mean, it's ridiculous. How about focus on the running back position? Let's get them paid. Y'all saying worrying about capping the quarterbacks? Nah, I agree with you, JB. It's a terrible idea. It's just too much that can go wrong with that.
Yeah, they don't like the running backs. They ain't gonna say it.
Clearly.
They don't like.
They need them. I mean, if they watched the last few Super Bowls, I mean, clearly you need your running backs, man. But nah, I don't even know why they just pulled this one out of thin air. I mean, it just like it come out of nowhere.
And here's the other thing. As far as like a cap, I mean, we got another example. Everybody got mad at Cleveland when they gave Deshaun Watson their guaranteed contract. Mm-hmm. People just recently got mad at the Falcons for giving, Kirk Cousins the money that they gave to Kirk Cousins. It's just you could go back. Maybe you got maybe some Raven fans that might have been upset at Joe Flacco, but he won a Super Bowl, so he would, he had the leverage, at that particular point. But there's always going to be somebody that's going to pay the quarterback. It is what it is, because you're going to. You got that the draft, they don't have that broken down to a science. So we've seen numerous of quarterbacks that have been taken early and it just didn't work out. So it maybe if you do that better, and I'll use your guy just as an example, you get a Brock Purdy instead of waiting to the 7th round, maybe you can do some stuff like that, but it's too far gone. It's
easier said than done with the draft, though. I mean, we know that because you kind of don't know what you're going to get. But you just mentioned 3 quarterbacks: Kirk Cousins, Deshaun, Joe Flacco. Them probably bad to see. Even though Joe Flacco won a championship, I mean, it's probably not the best deal on the table for him, for a quarterback of that caliber. And I don't know. That's just how I feel about it, JB. I just feel like you just if the organizations make better decisions, you might not even be having these conversations.
Yeah. And to your point, the name Mike Glennon, I don't know if that even registers. Scott Mitchell.
Mike Glennon.
Yeah, Mike. And I'm not hating on them because it's just like right today, if someone came and said, Jelani, we're going to give you a 2-year contract, $40 million, and I get 20 a year.
Yeah.
I'm taking that
down.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do my best to be the best quarterback I can be.
Kirk Cousins' legacy is robbing the league. That's his legacy.
I'm not gonna say robbing the league, man. People said that about Sam Bradford, but somebody keeps giving them that money. I mean, unless they got pictures and saying, "Look, I'm gonna display these pictures," somebody willingly gave them that money. You could have went and got.
Kirk Cousins ever been in a season?
Huh?
The furthest he's gone in the season.
I think he got recently with the Vikings. They got second round. I think they won that wild card game. Yeah.
Okay. Who's better, Kirk Cousins or Joe Flacco?
Who's better?
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta give it to Joe because he went to the Super Bowl.
His contracts compared to Kirk Cousins. Come on, you see where I'm going, man.
Kirk blowing him out the water. But I'm just saying, somebody got to give him
ain't got to give him the money. Not that kind of money. Kirk Cousins, I don't know the numbers.
No, I'm saying what I'm saying is these teams. You just said it. They need to make better decisions.
Yeah.
You could say no, but they believe.
They keep saying, yeah.
Right.
I don't know what it is about Kirk.
And if I'm Kirk Cousins, yeah, I ain't gonna tell you
Because he's the reason, he's a big part of the reason you having this conversation right now. I mean, Deshaun Watson, you can't say that he's the exception because we've seen it before. But ridiculous contract coming off of controversy and injury. But Kirk Cousins, year after year after year, he get the bag. His agent, he need a Hall of Fame award, Lifetime Achievement Award. Give him something because he's the best agent in sports history. I don't even know who his agent is, but he the GOAT.
Yeah, he'll do a master class. It'll be on LinkedIn.
I'm surprised they're not beating this door down, man.
Come
on, Brandon Ayuk, go call Kirk Cousins' agent. Get your money, man. Get your money so you can get you suited up.
Brandon's in San Fran right now trying to hash it out, so maybe it happens. But all right. But yeah, it is what it is. QB cap. No. But
cut that.
Hey, Mo ain't gonna, Mo don't like this, but he already told me he don't like it. But it don't matter. It don't matter. NBA, I want to talk about basketball players, right? Forgotten NBA all-stars, forgotten stars of the NBA, just forgotten ballers, if you will. We always talk about the LeBrons and the D-Wades and the Carmelos and, Jordans and so forth, and rightfully so. But I think people get it twisted or people forget. There's a lot of guys that came through the NBA that can ball, right? And we don't talk about them. We don't give them the credit that they so deservingly, they deserve to get the credit. And they don't get it the way that they should get it, is what I'm getting at. So I said, let me come up with my all-time unsung NBA basketball players, right? All-time NBA basketball. So these are my 5 that I have that, you know what? You talk about them a little bit, but you don't give them enough credit. You don't give them enough respect. You don't give them enough props as it is. So I'm going to run it up here. Let's start with the point guard position, right? So if I got to go with someone unsung, I'm going with, they went first overall, second overall, something like that. Baller. We forget how bad, they were on the court. And that is Steve Francis, right? Steve Francis is going to be my first player on here. Steve Francis, 3-time All-Star, averaging 18 points a game. Now you got to remember that averaging 18 points, I think, he had some down years, when he got to New York, he had some, some injuries. So I do think that's higher. But when Steve was balling, when he was in his heyday, especially in Houston, he was a walking bucket. He was a highlight reel. You could get yammed on at any moment with Steve Francis. And the crossover that he had that he could pull back up on people, Steve Francis was that dude in the NBA, and people don't give him enough props. So he's going to be my point guard for my unsung team. Now, moving to the shooting guard position, I am a little biased on here, so it is what it is, though. I'm going to go with my guy from the Detroit Pistons, Mr. Joe Dumars, right? So Joe Dumars, what can I say about him? 6-time All-Star. He was finals MVP for the Pistons. He also played on the second, and I don't call him a dream team, but he played on the second team where they had all NBA players. He won gold there. He was a 4-time first team all defensive team. One of the guys Jordan said gave him the most most fits on the court. And I just think it's underestimated that, what Joe brought to the table or whatever, because he was quiet. He was quiet. He didn't say too much, but he was a quiet assassin. So I got Joe Dumars at my shooting guard position. Now, I'm going to go also small forward, right? This dude is a walking bucket. This dude can shoot threes, won the 3-point contest. At my small forward, I'm going to go Mr. Glenn Rice, right? Glenn Rice, another NBA champion for your Lakers, Mo, 3-time All-Star. And he was the All-Star MVP in one of those All-Stars that he played in. When he was in Miami, that's where he got initially drafted in. He was a walking bucket. When he was in Charlotte, he was a walking bucket. And he was the reason why the Lakers, one of the reasons why the Lakers won the championship in 2000, because they said, we got to go out there and get somebody that if you're gonna double Shaq, if you're gonna, try and go at Kobe, we got to make somebody pay. And Glenn Rice was the guy that they got. So I'm gonna go with Glenn Rice for my small forward. Again, 3 All-Star appearances, and he was an MVP at one of those All-Star games. Power forward. This dude does not get enough credit. And I just saw him on All the Smoke. I've been saying this from time and time that there is, when you talk about dunks, you can't talk about dunks without mentioning the Rain Man, right? Sean Kemp is going to be my power forward. This dude naturally just gifted. We know he could jump in the air, pause, and then just dunk on somebody. But Sean Kemp had a mid-range game. Sean Kemp played defense. Sean Kemp, 6-time All-Star. I think some of those he beat out Karl Malone and Charles Barkley, 4 of those. So those are guys we talk about all the time. So Sean Kemp, don't get the credit that he deservedly, should get, especially a guy coming straight out of high school. Just a dog, just raw, right? We don't talk about Sean Kemp enough in the NBA world or in the world of basketball. He gets mentioned from time to time, but he should get it more than he does. My center, I thought about this and I was like, I want a center. And spoiler alert, I think this team that I'm putting together, all these guys, they could play. Everybody say, era leagues or whatever in the 90s and the early 2000s and even now and all this stuff. I believe with this roster, all these guys could play either back then, which they did, or they can play in the current game right now. So my center is going to be Brad Daugherty, right? So Brad Daugherty, five-time All-Star, basically a double-double machine for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I like it because even though he did not do this, I think he could do it in this era right now. He would be a problem, around the three-point line. A guy that can make, put up threes, and 7-footer, agile, probably can use both hands. Don't get enough credit, right? I just don't think he gets enough credit, but Brad Daugherty would be my center. So that's my team recap. Who I got, Mo, put them all up there for me so everybody can see them. So Mr. Stevie franchise, Steve Francis, Joe Dumars, Glenn Rice, Sean Kemp, and Brad Daugherty. And I know, Mo, you said you don't like it. You call my list trash, if I'm correct.
I'm not even going to come on the screen for this, but I'm going to say this. Let me say this.
Okay.
I love the Glenn Rice and Sean Kemp pool.
Mm-hmm.
I love those 2 picks. I don't love franchise Dumars.
Hater.
Brad Daugherty. Solid team, though. Solid roster, man. Solid roster. Stevie was a dog, man. And I felt like, just watching him in them early Houston years in that dunk contest, I mean, the boy got busy, man. Of course, Joe Dumars is a legend, and you can't really go wrong with him. I don't feel like he's one of those forgotten stars, though. That's the only reason why I'm not crazy about that pool, because I do think he get the respect he deserves. Brad Daugherty, solid, but a couple other different directions I would have went in. But yeah, I love the Glenn Rice. I love the Sean Kemp pool. Solid roster, man. You got me wanting to put one together now.
Yeah,
I wish I'd have had a little more time to put my little roster together, man.
You know what? How about this? We'll put together our unsung NFL team.
Okay.
And then
I like it.
You can put your team together, and I'll put my team together.
I like it. We going undefeated. Unsung now. Don't be coming out there with no superstars. Don't be coming out there with no Barry Sanders, Mr. Detroit.
Yeah, we starting off with Barry. Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man. We ain't doing that. I like it, though. Yeah, let's do it. We'll put it together. Solid roster.
Cool. So let's finish this thing up. And this is a sports show. We talking about sports. We talk about football, basketball, baseball, boxing, hockey, whatever, WNBA, whatever is going on at that moment. We talk about it. But in sports, what is the most difficult, or what do you think is the hardest sport to play? There's a lot, I'm not talking about, I don't want anybody to, you know what? One thing that's not here, I see the et cetera. I would throw NASCAR or Formula One or anything like that. I would throw that, in there. People be like, oh, that's not a actual sport. I see people on the regular road and highway that can't drive going 45 miles per hour. You have to be gifted and athletically talented to drive going almost 200 miles per hour. We talk about, quarterbacks, visions, and all that stuff. NASCAR, Formula One, it is a sport. Now, that's for a different day. I'll argue that. But for me, out of all the sports, I think the hardest sport is baseball. I think that's the hardest sport to play because I just look at baseball is that with basketball, football, and this is not a knock on any of that, is that if you are just freakishly athletically gifted or just athletically gifted, in basketball and football, you kind of can, work your way through it. You still got to be good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to downplay it. But in baseball, I just believe that it is just, you look at guys that have all these talent, they have the draft, and then guys go to the minors. You may never hear from them ever again. You got all these different, A's, double A, triple A, and all that up, single A, and there's guys that go through that before they even get to the majors. And then, if you do get to the majors, you got guys throwing 80, 85, 90, 100, and you have to have that hand or eye coordination. You have to be able to, if you play in the outfield, you have to be able to, I know I have a problem with the depth of like if it's a fly ball or whatever. So you have to have that depth perception. You have to be able to track it down. I just think baseball is probably the hardest sport because it's not something I don't think we saw Jordan, one of the most athletic people. He struggled. He didn't just go and start playing baseball and had success. He did, start catching on and everything, but it's not something that you can just pick up and just say, you know what, I'm gonna play baseball, and you just go out there and your batting percentage is 290 or 300. So for me, I'm gonna say it's baseball. I know Mo may have something else. Mo might actually agree with me on this one. Let's see.
I don't agree. So this is how I look at it.
Of course you don't.
Difficulty of accomplishing the ultimate success, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got empires in baseball. You got the Red Sox, you got the Yankees. They've won multiple championships. I think the Yankees own the record for most championships in any sports franchise. Am I correct?
Maybe. Yeah, I think so.
So one single team dominated the sport, right?
Okay.
You look at the NBA. How many dynasties can you think of in NBA history, right? There's several of them, right? You got the Boston Celtics, you got the LA Lakers, so forth and so on. Mm-hmm. But then you start getting into football. You know how hard it is to win a Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
You know how hard it is for anybody to dominate the sport of golf, right? Tiger dominated for his time, but you didn't see a lot of that. You didn't see as much of that as you saw in baseball and basketball because I think those sports are superstar driven, right? And as long as you got a nice superstar, you're probably gonna win. You're probably gonna get a lot of success. But you don't see that in the NFL. You don't see that in golf, and you don't see it in soccer, right? But
we talking about playing though, just playing the game.
Okay, we're playing the game still. I mean, listen, I feel like, again, it's still the superstars. They got that edge, man. But if I had to pick a single sport, I would probably say, soccer. I'd probably say soccer, man. I mean, you barely get to score in that game. I mean, you may play for hours and you win the game by a single point, right? Because it's difficult. It's difficult. I don't know that the injury, as far as how it compares to other sports, but because I don't watch soccer that much, so it's kind of hard for me to kind of give that answer. But I'm still go with soccer, man. But out of the four major sports, the ones that we got listed right here, I'm gonna say NFL.
Baseball doesn't have a high scoring a lot. I mean, you'll have it every so often, but They
didn't
be
it once
winning
upon a
3-2.
time. You watch the College World Series. They dominated every game. Every game has been lopsided so far.
Football is the toughest. Here's why I want to push. This is why I push back on the
football in particular. Okay.
Yeah, on football being the hardest. And I'll just say this, is that you've had track stars play football, Willie Galt. You've had basketball players play football, and Tony Gonzalez and Antonio Gates. And you've had other guys come from just now the Eagles. They got former, I think he was a wrestler in college. He's playing, and they got a rugby guy. I think your team actually might have picked up a rugby guy, the 49ers. But I'm just saying, like, there's other people that have come from other sports, and they played football. And I don't know if someone could just come and play baseball like that. I haven't seen anybody just say, you know what, I was playing basketball, or I was playing hockey, or I was playing soccer, and I'm just going to play baseball.
They do it in college all the time. A lot of these players, they may be stars in college and then just go pro and like kind of like Charlie Ward, how he did it. But you naming the exceptions. Exceptions, and they random names too.
Examples.
How much success did they have in that sport? Would you say Willie Goat was his name?
Willie Galt for the Raiders.
Okay, all right. So, I mean, these are the exceptions.
And Antonio Gates is going to the
He's a Hall of
Fame.
Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. I agree.
Tony Gonzalez.
You can't. You can't pull a million of those names out, man.
Jimmy Graham.
Listen, playing in the NFL, every play is like a car accident, man. I mean, it's a brutal sport, bro. Come on, man.
Okay.
It's not easy. It's not easy. Everybody can't do that.
I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm just saying we said what is.
You're saying it's easier.
What is the hardest? I just think baseball is harder to do. To be able to just go and play baseball.
You don't see it in baseball because I don't think you got the same interest. I just don't think a lot of athletes, I mean, yeah, of course they got a cult following, but I don't think it's as many athletes that just say, I love baseball, I want to go play, I got to go play baseball. That's probably why you don't see that. But
that's another.
I don't know. We need some data.
No.
We need some data to make this argument.
We need to go on the road and we both go and try and at the batting cage.
Let's see what's up. No, I tried that with Top Golf, and I'd rather stick to the Xbox. I've tried. I'm already struggling on PGA 2K23. I'm already struggling. But JB, yeah, I disagree. Okay. Matter of fact, I would say the opposite.
Okay.
But, let's get some data, man. We'll collect some data on that, and then I'll come back with a stronger argument.
Okay. All right.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough.
All right.
All right. Appreciate you, Mo. Hey, and I appreciate y'all out there for tuning in. Again, like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, man. Every week we dropping something for y'all to catch. So we got that heat for you. So for your man, Jelani JB Bodie, and my man Mo running it in the background, we're going to holler at y'all later. Peace.